Hello, this is another tough video, tell a friend video, this time on the genetic or environmental predisposition of safety versus and freedom. So there are people that are more safety concerned and people that are more freedom concerned. Now, why is that? First of all, there is no good, there is no bad from Shakespeare. So the thinking makes. So it doesn't matter whether you're safety or freedom. It doesn't matter. It's just that you are at one of the two. And second, this may change over the time, and I will show why. And then the other thing is, in general, we do not notice, and maybe after this video, you might be able to say whether you're more safety or more freedom. And I can say that safety is like 90% and freedom is 10%. Now you ask yourself, why is that? So you ask the question, I hope. Why is that the case? And now, if you look at, let's say, like a million years ago, it's danger, or 100,000 years ago, like very long ago, there's danger coming onto a tribe. Now what happens is that most of the members of the tribe actually go in the cave and hide. So they hide. There's danger and they hide. But there are some, maybe I draw them in red, that are kind of less fearful, so no fear, or daredevils or whatever, and they go out. And usually you would have something like maybe 10%, could be 5%, 20%, depending maybe also on the danger that there is, because this is a distribution in population. And then you have these people here that are around 90%, and they sit in the cave. Usually, obviously, these are more women, old, and kids. Yeah, they sit rather in the cave, and the fear here, the guys with no fear, they actually fight. Now nature, by the way, has foreseen one thing. Why do you think that men are able to have kids even if they are old? And the reason is, if all the fearless men have been killed, the active ones, then even an 80-year-old can, reproduce the tribe. So that is, the nature is very, very clever. So that means more people sit in the cave than are fearless. And now, so there's no good or bad. I don't say these ones are good or these ones are good, it doesn't matter. Now, if we look at it, then, for example, I already mentioned man and female. So let's say mother and father, yeah? If you look at how they treat their kids, I draw a little kid here, girl or so on, the mother will remove all the obstacles, that are in the way. The mother will, if there's an obstacle, the mother would actually take the obstacle away, yeah? The father would take the girl or the boy at the hand and show how to overcome it, or say, come on, jump over it. And so they will then, jump over it. So what happens is, mother shows care and love to the kid. So she relies, oh, there's somebody taking care of me, so nice. And the father is taking care, preparing for life. Now, what happens? Sometimes the kid falls down, then the father is in big trouble if the mother has a lawyer, not in the caves, but nowadays, if the mother has a lawyer and the government, will say, father, you're a bad father, bad father, we put you in jail, because the kid fell down and broke his, nose or whatever. Now, the thing is, so short term, mother is right, and lawyers and government is right. But to prepare long term, I write that in green, long term, that is, the father is actually right, because if the kid falls down once in a while or so, it learns to be prepared for a life that is usually made of a lot of obstacles, you know. And so the father actually teaches the kids to actually overcome all those obstacles. Now, as in nature always, you know, there is a good compromise between the two, or that was between the father and the mother. You know, the mother has more time to take care of the kids because the father is hunting, and then when he comes back, he kind of tries to kind of give a hard time to the kids. So there is a good, a good compromise between the two. Now, in the modern society, obviously, mother wins, and the father, father also is a win-win situation. He sits in front of the TV set and eats chips and junk food and watches Netflix. So, yeah, then the kids will not be prepared long-term for their life. Okay, then let's take, so this is mother, father, so women, male here. This is kind of relatively natural, and I think that's a good thing. You know, it's just that the government and the lawyers shouldn't have so much say, so that these two are a little bit more equal. So just to have a long-term society that is powerful. Now, if you want to see which of the two you are, now the likelihood is that 90% that you are this one, is look at how many insurances. So insurance, yeah. So somebody that is safety aware will have lots of insurances. So you would have all-inclusive car insurance and so on. You know, health insurance and all that. You will have that. And now the thing is that good or is that bad? I don't want to go into details here, but it's, again, you can say short term. Let's say you have a good insurance and your car window breaks or the car takes fire, then obviously the insurance will pay for it. But if you look over the long term, then all the money you pay into the insurance, that's the integral of that, will be much more worth than the whole car. So if you are a freedom thinker, then I think, let's say here on average you will have a damage, you know, here the car will be damaged, and then you will get money, but you will maybe get that much out of it because the insurance, will get about 15% of for administration and so on. And the second thing is, if you have a damage, let's say the windshield is broken, then you would go to the best repair shop there is and have it fixed for €1,000. If you would have to pay it, no insurance, then you would go to a friend or to somebody to a much cheaper shop, and maybe you pay only 600. But your insurance height is actually calculated on people doing the best and getting the best service here. So in like return on invest, you would have something like, I would say, would be something like 70%, the 30% you pay more. Okay, some people say, especially if you're a safety guy, so if you're one of the 90%, then you say, okay, I pay 30% so that I can sleep in the cave. So that's fine, because then I can sleep well and have nice drinks. So you will, and that is, you will always find, because that's the three brain model, so your safety is here in the reptile brain, and then you will always find a reason why it was much better, it was much better to take the insurance and pay 30% more, yeah? So you will not notice which one you are, and you will not notice all that. Number 3, you see that's very much related to the insurance. It's job. So there are lots of people that want a government job, like especially in Europe or so, your governmental job, fixed income all the time. Then others go to the industry, big and so on, big industry, that's okayish. And then others would be like startups, entrepreneurs and so on. And I think you would be something like government job would be fantastic. Everybody would like to have that. and then maybe the remaining ones that can't get the government jobs will go for an industry job that is relatively secure, and then only very few, maybe 3, 4, 5% will be like independently employed and so on. And that has also a lot to do with the whether you're a safety or freedom type person. Now, I want to add a little thing, because this sounds very sad that you're born because you have the genetic predisposition, but that's not true. I mentioned here the environment, and that makes me actually be very happy, you know, because the environment you can control, and the environment controls something, and that is the maybe well-known, I don't know how well it's known, the serotonin, dopamine cycle. So if you go in a fight with somebody, in a conflict, yeah, you go in a conflict with somebody, the one that wins actually gets dopamine, and you know, he'll smile more, he'll have his shoulders up, his chest out, and he'll raise. This one actually will be a little bit sadder, because he will have serotonin in his for a short while, and that rebuilds his brain. Green, so he's more powerful, he thinks he's a leader, and he, poor guy, he thinks he's an underdog. And that is why there is, in the Bible, it says the one that has everything will be given even the last thing, and the one that doesn't have anything will be taken away even what he has. So it's, this one is upwards and this one is a downward spiral, you know. So that is nature, that is like this. However, if you now look at it, in this society, maybe these ones are kind of rather the winners, and these ones are the losers. Now imagine that the lion eats all of them. Then within this society, there is actually, again, as always, there's a hierarchy. It's been, you know, in human society, there's always the hierarchy built in. And so they have the hierarchy as well. If you take away these fearless guys and they get all killed, you know, then rest in peace. You were really brave. Then, so they are killed. Then from this remaining people, there will be again some people, you know, that have risen, of less people now. And again, there would be the 10% or so that would defend against the lion or the danger. So that is normal. This is one of the strongest drives in humanity that is built in, this fear or exploration and non-explorative fear of new things and no fear of new things. And it's not a digital thing. It's not I'm fearful and I'm fearless, but it's a gradual thing. So in this society, you will have different levels, and also depending on what fear of what, you know, some is fearful if there's a tiger, some are fearful if there is a fire, and so on. So it's not one. So this whole thing actually works very well. It's just that you know, there are less people that are fearless than people that are fearful. And if you now look at this in terms of, and you knew it that will come, in terms of corona, then you'll see that there are about 90% that are fearful and about 10% that are not fearful. And now guess who are the ones that want the measures and who doesn't want the measures. And obviously it's these ones don't want the measures and these ones want the measures, and that's it. And now looking at it in this way, there's no problem to it. The only problem I see with corona is that there is always the mighty prince, you know, from Machiavelli, so the prince, and the prince knows this, and so he can take care of it, and he can actually take profit of it, and he can actually control these ones to do whatever he wants by using fear. Because when they sit in here, they watch out what the leader, what the ones out there say. So the prince usually is one of these guys that is relatively fearless, but it's not a one-to-one relationship between somebody that is fearless and that is a prince. This is more a power game. This is more the serotonin, dopamine game. But I would estimate that the princes are usually more freedom fighters, especially the new princes. Yeah, the ones that maybe have startup that are very successful and so on. So these princes, the new princes, are usually more in the freedom. Whereas the older princes, they may be, even in this safety-related area. Okay, I hope that was interesting. I thought with Corona, actually, this made it very clear. Like car insurance, and just look at it. It usually, we do not know which we are. And it's just very funny that we don't know. But with this, maybe you can understand, oh, I'm more a safety guy or more a freedom guy. Now, from a Darwinistic point of view, and that is this, from a Darwinistic point of view, this was very successful, and that is why it has been implemented by nature. Whether it's successful, this dopamine, serotonin, and safety-freedom relationship or mechanism, whether that is successful in our modern societies, that's, I would say, a question mark. We'll see what turns out. But it definitely is very, very powerful because it has been built into our genes. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.